I cannot begin to express how disappointed I am in a certain team that made it to the grand finals. Um, G2 Esports, who is my, which is my favorite team in Rocket League right now. I hate to say it, but they did not perform well in the grand finals at all. And it saddens me to see all of their hard work and all of their preparation after the spring major. The major that they were reverse swept in twice to get eliminated in from early, just not pay off. Early on it did. They came with the heat. They destroyed teams. They beat Optic Gaming, they beat Furia, they beat NRG, they beat FaZe Clan. The team previously who beat them. FaZe is the most recent, and I think like one of the only NA teams to beat G2 recently. And G2 stomped them 4-2. But that grand final against BDS, another team who did not perform well in the spring major. G2 just wasn't there. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know what their mental was like going into it. They could have been nervous. They could have been something. I don't know what. All I know is that they didn't perform. They just didn't. And it's really saddening to say that. You know, I was so nervous for them throughout the entire event, and I just got so happy after every win that I thought, wow, G2 is going to win a world championship, and it just didn't happen. BDS rolled over them. The final score for that match was 4-1. G2 only got one game off of BDS. And even then they looked shaky. And that made for a very boring grand final. Not just because G2 lost, which is what I've seen in a lot of chats that I've been in on Twitch stream. It's not boring because G2 lost or the favorite team lost. It's boring because it was boring. It's boring because there was no substance to it. It was just one team dominating. It wasn't back and forth. There wasn't OTs. It wasn't anything of that nature. There was one team getting absolutely destroyed. Like, G2 had offense, yes, but it was weak. It was melting. It wasn't what we're used to from G2. And that just caught everyone off guard. You know? Except BDS. You know? Frickin' monkey railing G2. But monkey railing. Anyway. Like, it just wasn't even close. I hope that G2 does something before next World Championship, or even before the regionals start up again for the fall, to where they stay consistent, they stay good, and they come back and they continue to destroy people, and they don't fall off like so many teams would in their situation. Because I know they're a good team, and I know they could do it, and I would 100% represent them in some manner that I can. I wish I was contracted by G2, but that's just not the case. I'm just talking as a fan right now. Like, oh my god. I'm I ain't leaving the support. I ain't ending my support for a team because of one performance. If that was the case, I would have left them. I would have stopped supporting G2 at the Spring Major. And I feel really bad for JNaps because he wanted to win the World Championship and he wanted to retire afterward. He wanted to retire. But that just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't. And whether or not that means he still continues playing Rocket League for a year, whether or not he wants to hopefully still obtain that World Championship next year, who knows? He could still retire. And quite frankly, he's still in his peak. He's still in his peak at this game. And he wants to retire. Which, I can't, if he wants to retire, he probably has something he wants to do, or just enjoy the rest of his life. He's like 20 or 21, I think. He's still relatively young. He probably wants to do things. Just fine. I'm not taking that away from him. If he wants to retire, then, live your life. Do you. But, I don't know. I just want G2 to, I just want to see G2 do well. I want to see them succeed. I want to see my favorite team succeed and win a world championship next year. That's what I want. Like, I mean, that was just disappointing. That was something you'd see out of a minor region. That's how G2 competed. No offense to the minor regions, alright? Because they'll get better one day, they will, and they could probably still stop my butt in this game. But they played like the minor regions did in the wild card. And mind you, all of their minor region teams got eliminated right in wild card. I don't know if you'd count OC as a minor region in Rocket League, but still, only Renegades got through. Like, it was disheartening as a G2 fan to see that kind of performance, and BDS deserves it. I went into the event saying no matter who won, G2 or not, whoever won the World Championship is going to deserve it. And good on BDS. They deserve it. They were happy. They were crying tears of joy after it ended. Good on them. Good on them. I just hope G2 continues being dominant at NA. They are top seed NA. They are top team NA still, and I hope they stay like that no matter what. A few more things I want to talk about the event is, first of all, it was amazing. The entire Worlds was amazing. Almost every match was a nail biter. Very intense matches in the top 8. And even not in the top 8, there were some things that happened that nobody expected, like the FaZe sweeping Falcons 4-0. The first 2 games in that series were 1-1 or 0-0 overtime, which FaZe won. The third game, FaZe did something, and they just broke through Falcons' defense. They clipped their wings. They destroyed them 6-1. I don't remember the scoreline for the 4th game, but FaZe beat them there too, obviously, for the sweep. Nobody expected that. I'm sure nobody expected this next thing, which was Karmine Corp eliminating Falcons to get into the main event, or the top 8. I didn't expect that either. I wanted FaZe to win against Falcons, which they did. I didn't expect it to be in that manner. And I wanted Carmine Corps to win, but I didn't think their chances of winning were all that high because of the Falcons. I've seen them play before. I see them make it to the grand final in the Spring Major by destroying everyone, including version 1. Who I thought was another favorite to win. It was just unfortunate that they lost right on the cusp of it. No. Yeah. Well, kind of, yeah, they lost on the cusp of it. It was top 8, and I think they went against FaZe, because they beat SSG to qualify for top 8, and then they lost to FaZe. Which was I like version 1. I don't care what people say about version 1 or people call Com toxic. He's not toxic. He just does it to get in people's heads. You know that he's still friends with everyone there. He's still a cool guy. I'd love to meet him. I love to meet most of the pros, especially G2. Oh my god, if I got to meet G2 one day, oh my gosh. But yeah, there was just various things that didn't go the way people thought it would. One more, the last thing, maybe the last thing, I don't know, I'll see if I come up with something else to talk about before it ends, but last thing so far. The chat for the main Rocket League Twitch channel. I know it doesn't embody the entire Rocket League community because there were like 13,000 people in attendance at the World Championship in the Dickies Arena. But the main chat for the Rocket League Twitch channel was so toxic. Unnecessarily toxic. Like, I couldn't explain to you. Obviously there was the whole, oh, any bad, any defense, and then, you know, people on the other side, EU bad, and all that stuff, right? But I can't remember a lot of the things that were said in that Twitch chat, but I don't understand why people go to that depth to poop on people's favorite teams or their opinions or anything of that nature. You know, teams do good one event and then do bad another event. That's just how it goes. Except for like the most consistent teams. You know? Like, there are events, there are times where teams can do bad and not be a bad team necessarily. They're just bad in the moment, which caused them to lose. It happens. It happened to Space Station, it happened to G2, it happened to so many other teams in this event. Falcons, like, and every single time one of those teams lost, it'd be like, oh, this team's washed, this team's not good, this team is so bad, it needs some roster changes, it needs this, it needs that. Like, suddenly these people became like pros and could dissect and tell you, oh, what the teams did wrong and who needs to be replaced and all that stuff. Like, in actuality, these people have a chance at beating any of these pros in a 1v1. Even the minor regions could beat these losers, but for some reason they still feel the need to just, oh, how could I insult these today? How could I, as a meaningless person with a useless opinion, comment on how bad these people are today? And it just, and there were good people in the chat too who were defending the teams and all that stuff, and telling the people that they're wrong and they couldn't beat them in 1v1s and all that stuff. And even in other Twitch chats that I would go into to watch people watching the World Championship, um, there were toxic people there too. The streamers were very much dealing with them in their own ways, which is very fantastic to see, especially when they insulted these toxic people. But it was just that, and obviously it's the toxic people who will only say that stuff behind a keyboard or behind a computer screen, because they would never have the gut to say that type of thing in person to the pros or anybody in general, you know. um it just, I don't know, a lot of stupid people in the main Twitch chat for the main Rocket League channel on Twitch. A lot of toxic people, a lot of stupid people. And I can say they were actually stupid. Like, their IQ was room temperature, was below room temperature. Like, it was insane. But that was the only downside of it. I mean, that's the only downside of an event. That's a really good event. Like, besides the grand finals of it, there wasn't really anything bad about it. You know? Nothing. I mean, people could say, oh, NA production is bad at times, but like, it's the same production that was at the Spring Major in London. You know, that's the same production team. It's still people behind it. It's still the same production as that event. It's not NA production. It's just production. Another example of their low IQ. Like, I don't know. I know you could say anything and they wouldn't break out of their comatose zombie-like state thinking that, oh, no matter what, my region's better, your region's worse. It's like, I subscribe to the whole EQ versus NA thing, but you don't have to take it that far. You don't. It's ridiculous and it's not necessary. It's just, I don't understand why people are like that. There are always gonna be people like that, but they're called pros for a reason. They're not just your average SSLs or grand champions or whatnot. They're pros. And they're called so for a reason. Like, but yeah, that's really all I had to say about it. It was a fantastic event. It was. And I'm looking forward to the fall and the regionals then, and the World Championship next year, and all that good stuff. And I can't wait to see what Rocket League brings. I can't. And to top it all off, the main stream for the Rocket League channel, 245,000 viewers. That's the peak it got to. It's really nice to see. Anyway, I will catch you next time. See ya.